Hello, I'm Julian Fellows. Welcome to another Fireside Chat. To celebrate the upcoming release of Downton Abbey, A New Era, I'm sitting down with members of the cast in this new series dedicated to celebrating all things Downton with you. Today we're discussing weaving historic events into the show and films and teasing a bit of what's to come. And I'm joined by Leslie Nichol, who plays one of our favourites, Mrs. Patmore.
Hello. Julian, we never get a chance to sit down and have a chat, do we? And I've got a few questions I've been pondering on. The first would be, was it always important to you to portray real historical events in the series and in the film?
Yes, is the short answer to that. I mean, the fact is, I think that real events anchor the series in its own time. And I want to give that sense to characters that they are responding to what's going on in the greater world around them, to make them more real. Sometimes you have a dramatic purpose. I mean, I opened the series basically with Robert looking at his paper, and there was the familiar four-funneled liner, the Titanic. Yeah. And what that did is it said to the audience, oh, this is when we're starting the show. And most people, they may not be historians, they may not know anything about it really, but they probably know that the Titanic sank just before the First World War, and they can probably work that out.
It gives them a clue, doesn't it?
It gives them a clue, it gives them a starting point.
Julian, is there one historical storyline that stands out particularly that you're proud of?
I think a lot of the historical background of the show worked well, actually. I mean, I've talked about Teapot Dome scandal, which, you know, everyone's forgotten now, but it was the big political scandal of the 20s, and it was unrivaled as a political scandal until Watergate. I liked that. I liked using the Prince of Wales story when we had his letter stolen. Not that that was true exactly, but his relationship was true. And I have a sort of fantasy of our fans typing these names out on their computers and the Wikipedia throwing up the scandal, you know. Yeah. It sort of roots the show, it makes it real. And really that is my sort of subtext of the whole thing. These were real people.
So, Julian, in this new film, the Crawleys go on this big adventure to the French Riviera. Was there an inspiration for you to bring that storyline in?
So I was reading this book about the Riviera, and I came upon this wonderful character called Maxine Elliott, who was an American actress who came over to England, and she made a fortune and bought a great house and got to know everyone. She was terrific for working the room. And, you know, she was a friend of Churchill and she was a friend of everyone, really. And then about sometime in the mid-20s, she just got rather bored and thought, no, I'm going to reinvent my life. And she went to the south of France and she built a villa called the Château de l'Horizon, the Chateau of the Horizon. And there she started to entertain. All the parliamentary leaders, figures of society came packing down to the Château de l'Horizon. Wow. And I found when we were trying to think of the two binding stories of the film, the sort of twin tent poles, I was taken back to this particular book. Thank you, Leslie, for joining me for this fireside chat. I don't feel I've asked you enough, actually.
No, next time.
Next time. In fact, next week we'll be discussing the grand fantasy of the Roaring '20s with Alan Leach, which inspired our new film, Downton Abbey, A New Era.